Hi everyone, I'm back with another fan Zoom Q&A, this time with Sam, who is representing Crawley Town. So thank you, Sam, for coming on.
No problem.
So we're going to have a look at sort of last season and sort of really looking at since you have come down into League Two, it's been very much a kind of mid to lower mid-table sort of finish every year for you. Is it starting to get a bit repetitive?
Well, we've had a few change of managers in that time as well, and obviously we are a small club. We're probably the second smallest club in the Football League, after Morecambe probably, maybe Harrogate now they've come up. But we are kind of punching above our weight from that point of view in terms of attendances. We only really average 1,800 home fans. So yeah, we would like to be fighting for the playoffs a bit more, I think. But the Football League survival isn't always something to be sniffed at, I think, sometimes. So, yeah, so we haven't really ever been in deep trouble. We've always kind of stayed up with a few games to go. So, but yeah, looking to try and have a bit of a playoff challenge this season, I think.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll get to that later on. Um, so last season was, I think, was it 13th after points per game?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you feel last season went? I think looking at it, was it your highest League Two finish since getting relegated?
Yes, yeah, I think it was. Yeah, so yeah, we had a very good cup run in the Carabao Cup. We beat Premier League Norwich, first Premier League team we've beaten, and we also beat Stoke as well. So we had a really good cup run. But then around kind of December time, our league form tailed off and we changed managers. John Yems came in and was undefeated at home. Still struggled away from home. Believe it or not, we only won one away game last season, which was in August. So
Wow.
definitely the away form is something to try and fix for next season. So. Yeah, it was average, I'd say, but with a good positive cup run in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, and you do tend to find that. I mean, it happened with Newport, didn't it? They had a good cut, like they were doing well in the cups, but then the league form sort of suffered as a result of it. But I think, especially now, the money from a good cup run will be so key for you.
Yeah, definitely. And unfortunately, in the Carabao Cup, the prize money is not that big, but it was great to be able to have some Tuesday night games under the lights at home against Norwich and Stoke and beat them. And that was
That's the
fantastic for
thing;
the
it's
fans.
the ticket revenue as well. And I mean, did you get any games on the box or?
No, we didn't. We didn't this season,
Oh,
unfortunately. No.
we've been quite lucky. Our first round Carabao Cup match against Sheffield Wednesdays on Sky, so not that I can see us getting past the first round, but at least we've got one on there. So who were your sort of standout performers last season? What kind of saw you get a bit higher up the league?
Yeah, so Bez Labala started off the season really well last season. Was our top goal scorer early on, and then kind of got a bit. Teams kind of sussed him out and kind of nullified him out on the wing. So he started really well. And we had Ashley Naderson who came into his own the second half of the season, a goal scorer we signed from Fleetwood. So he's also a local lad. But my player of the year was Jordan Tunnicliffe, a centre half. Never played in the Football League before. Signed him from AFC Fylde, young lad. He'd done really well, played nearly every game. And then probably the other one I want to mention is our goalkeeper, Glenn Morris, has been outstanding the last 3 years. Probably, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in League Two. Not very tall, but he's a great shot stopper. And they're probably the four key players for us last season that kind of got us through the cup run and kept us up really in the end.
Yeah. We know as Walsall fans, one of our best keepers of all time, Jimmy Walker, who's famous for not looking anything like a goalkeeper for his height. But I mean, Glenn Morris has been around for some years. I mean, how long has he been with yourselves?
I think last season was his third full season, but it's quite a good story, Glenn Morris. So when he was signed as a goalkeeping coach and the third choice goalkeeper, and kind of in his first season wasn't even playing, wasn't even on the bench, and then the two keepers we had didn't do great. He kind of came in and has been ever present ever since. So yeah, 3 years, but he played over 100 games for us now, kind of early to mid 30s, but we've signed him on a long term deal. So yeah, I wouldn't want anyone else in my goal for a League Two side at the moment.
So it sounds like you've kind of got a good couple of players at the back with Tunnicliffe and Morris as your sort of core.
Yeah.
So how's the summer been? Have you managed to keep hold of your key players? Have you seen many leave?
So we've lost. Yeah, we've lost Ollie Palmer to Wimbledon, so he was out of contract and he's gone up to League One. So he's a big player for us in terms of his strength and holding the ball up and scoring goals. So he'll be a big player to fill his boots, and it'll be interesting how we do that next season. We've lost Panuch Kamara to Plymouth, but I'm not too sure he'll be that great of a loss because we've got some other good central midfield players and signed some good wingers. We've signed Tony Craig, who's played for Millwall, signed from Bristol Rovers, experienced defender. He played lots of games last year, so he's still obviously fit. So I think he'll fit in nicely alongside Tunnicliffe and bring experience to that back four. Signed a couple of good midfielders, signed Sam Matthews from Bristol Rovers, who I've heard lots of good things about as well, and a young lad called Tyler Frost from Reading. So just probably missing an out-and-out goal scorer, I'd say, to play up front with Naderson. I think that's probably the only thing that I'd like to see added to the squad in the rest of the summer.
Yeah, because I think we played I think it was January when you came to our place, and I remember Palmer and Labala, and it was such a different attacking threat, each player, which, it's like you said, if you've got rid of Palmer, who was a target man and looked good strength-wise and in the air for you, if you can replace that with your other, like with the new wingers and sort of all-round stronger squad, it could look like the makings of a really good team.
Yeah, I think we're probably, and it's easy to say it and it's harder to get, but I think we're an out-and-out goal scorer away from challenging for the playoffs next season. That's what I think.
Problem is, most League Two clubs are as well.
Yeah, everyone is. Yeah,
everyone. Tony Craig, that's a good signing, Craig, in defence. Like you said, if you've got a young defender who's shown a lot of promise, getting that experience in, it's going to be good for the whole team as well.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a lot of leaders down the spine now. So we've got Glenn Morris, experience, Tony Craig, experience. Danny Bourman, obviously the oldest player in the Football League, signed another year's contract. Unbelievable player for 40 years old. Incredible engine. Still a good player. Definitely hold his own. So the kind of spine there is really good. And then we've got obviously the youth of Ashley Nansen up front as well. So if we can just try and add to that, I think we'll be good. And Tony Craig, when I first saw the sign, I thought, 35, is he going to be all right? But looked at his last two seasons, he's played 80 games. So don't play 80 games in League One unless you're fit, do you? So
this is the thing. Like we've extended Matt Sadler's deal, and everyone, he's in his mid-30s, 35, I think, and he's become player coach. But he still played for us last season. He was in and out of the squad the first half, but the second half of the season, he missed one game.
Yeah,
and it was when we had a run of Saturday, Tuesday. But I think the older players, especially the ones that have played a lot of football, they're just used to it. And
he used to play for us as well.
Yeah. It's interesting because I don't think you get that higher up the leagues.
No, I think experience in the League One, League Two is really important. And when Matt played for us, he was probably the best left back I've seen at Crawley in Football League. That's for sure. Consistent, up and down, can play centre half if need be. Never really got sent off. Never got injured.
Yeah.
Really good, solid player. And you could tell that because Steve Evans was our manager when we had him, and when he went to Rotherham, he took him with him. And Rotherham were in the higher leagues. That just demonstrated how highly he thought of him.
Yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, you had Matt Sadler. Of course you did. Yeah. I mean, he played mainly at centre-back for us last season, but he did play a game at left-back. And everyone was thinking, oh, no, why? But he knew exactly where he needed to be. He wasn't bombing forward as much as, obviously, he used to, but he still covered a lot of ground for his age.
Yeah. Oh, he's great left back. I'm obviously younger when he played for us, but no, he played well at left back.
Yeah. Well, we had him, and then he left us. I think he went to Shrewsbury and then back from Shrewsbury again. But you can see he was a left back for us when he signed, and then he's come back as a centre back. But he was a really good player for us. Talking of Glenn Morris, he did concede our goal of the season when we played. I don't know if you remember it. It was a Wes McDonald looping ball into the top corner. Not
off the top of my head because it was at the start of the season, wasn't it? But
no, I think it was January.
Was it? No, I don't normally tend to remember the bad bits, to be honest with you.
I remember it because we'd had a very average game, and it just this moment came out of nowhere to give us the winner in the late 80th minutes, and it did really come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But
we beat you in the Carabao Cup first round, didn't we? 3-2. Remember that?
I have the feeling that I think we beat you 3-2 at your place and then 2-1 at ours, but you knocked us out of the cup early on. We quite liked playing you in the league. If you
I remember a few years ago. I can't remember what year it was. One of my worst away game experiences was at Walsall. We were 2-0 up with 2 minutes to go. Might be less than 2 minutes, and we drew 2-2. I'll never forget that. I think it might be League One.
That normally happens to us the other way round. We're very good at throwing away leads like that.
Be 2-0 up, 2 minutes to go, not winning. Was it? Oh, hated it.
So which clubs are you looking forward to playing? Have you got kind of like if you could go to any away day next season, which is the one that you sort of always look out for?
Yeah, well, it's Crawley strange. We haven't really got any local rivals in the Football League because obviously most of our history is in the non-league, and our local rivals are like Dover and Hastings. Kind of since we've gone into the Football League, our rivals have kind of been a bit of Wimbledon really, because we kind of battled with them to get promoted. So obviously they're still in League One. So we like going to Leyton Orient because obviously that's a local game for us. And obviously we'll play them again. Southend's another local one for us because we haven't got many local games at all this season. Obviously it's great going to new grounds. So you've obviously got Harrogate, new ground this season. Barrow, new ground. I enjoyed going to Salford last season. That was good. Kind of. I like going to the new grounds and then the local ones, obviously, because you get more fans. And Leyton Orient was our only away win last season, and we won 3-2. So, it's an easy train journey up into London. So, but it's not. It's the League Two. Geographically, it's not great for Crawley at the moment. Lots and lots of long way trips. Walsall, all right. It's bang smack in the middle of the country.
We've got. I mean, I looked at the difference between our sort of like mileage and I think it's Exeter or Carlisle who are obviously at the top, but they are. I think we've got half the amount of miles.
It's lucky.
There isn't. Thinking about it, I was trying to think who your kind of nearest game would be, but if they're not really local derbies.
I mean, Football League-wise, the only teams obviously in Kent are Gillingham. The only team in Sussex, obviously, us and Brighton. And then you've kind of got Portsmouth on the coast, and then obviously further north, obviously Leyton Orient, and then you've got Colchester, obviously in our league, and Southend. So, not Stevenage as well. See if we get Stevenage. Stevenage stayed up, obviously. I forgot about them. Another localish one.
Well, hopefully I'm doing a Stevenage interview tomorrow. That'll be interesting to see what they say about that.
Win 3 games all season, stay up. Very lucky. Very lucky.
Right. So, looking forward to next season. I mean, you touched on earlier that you would like to be pushing for the playoffs. Your manager's name has completely slipped me by, which is fantastic as the interviewer to be forgetting that. So, what do you think of the management and the squad going into the 2021 campaign?
Yeah, so John Yems came in December. So John's never managed in the Football League. He's been a coach, but he was at Bournemouth. So he was at, I don't know if you know, he was at Bournemouth when they went from kind of the League Two to the Premier League alongside Eddie Howe and Jason Tyndall. So he was there as kind of head of football recruitment. So he had a big part to play in their success, and he's come down to us. And he started really well, actually. A lot of fans weren't sure. There was a local guy, which they quite liked. They weren't sure about his experience, how he'd do, but he's done well. I think the players respect him. You can tell that they play for him. Very organised team, good defensively, but also wants to win. he's got a saying that every game starts with 0-0, so make sure you come away with at least a 0-0. But that sounds quite negative and defensive. We don't play like that. We do go to win. So at home, as I said earlier, we haven't lost under him in the league, so that's good. Just away from home, it's just turn those losses into draws, those draws into wins, which is easier said than done. But I'd like to think with a pre-season with.
Every football fan at the end of the season is like, oh, well, if we'd have just drawn that game or just turned that into a win, we'd have. But
we draw. I can't remember exactly. I think we drew 10, 11, 12 away games last season. So even if you lost half of those and won half of those, it's an extra 6 points, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or more than 6 points. But yeah, so I think with a pre-season under his belt with the team, some of his signings. I'd like to think we can kind of have a bit of a playoff push, even if it's 10 games to go, 10 points off, just to have that chance to get to Wembley. Because Crawley were one of only 2 teams in the Football League that never play at Wembley.
Really?
So we'd like to do that, and we always have unfortunate draws in the EFL Trophy. So we always kind of tend to draw 2 League One teams in our group. So we've never really done very well in that competition. Because it's tough when you get the academy team and then 2 League One sides to ever get through that. So, but yeah, playoffs would be great because last time we went up from League Two, we finished 3rd on the last day, which is obviously fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's no better way to get promoted than at Wembley. But yeah, I think another good cup run. Hopefully the FA Cup because we'll get to see it. Then have a run at those playoffs.
Sorry, that's just my girlfriend making an appearance. Go on, you go and get what you want. She's also a Leyton Orient fan. And what's your view on Glenn Morris?
In the youth team, he was very much a good shot stopper, but he flapped a bit when the ball came over to him. But he might, when we saw him play against Crawley obviously last season, he's improved. I mean, I always rated him as a goalkeeper, full stop. He was always good. He just needed that bit more. And he wasn't playing in our first team. And obviously, you're not going to improve unless you play. So, yeah.
Cool. I'll finish the interview now.
Carry on.
Thanks. Yeah, we've a lot of, Vitals, people who follow me on Vital know this, but I'm obviously Walsall and my girlfriend's Leyton Orient. So that's a derby day on the 26th of September that we're looking forward to. I think if you finish top 10 in League Two, you've always got that looking of the playoffs. And I think you're right, if you can be sort of top 10 with even if it's just 3 or 4 games to go, you've got that excitement of, if a couple of results go our way, you never know. I mean, this season, I did not call Northampton finishing in that 7th spot.
No, definitely. But they are some good players, though. They had some good individuals. Nicky Adams used to play for us, a great player for League Two. He got one of the top assists out of the top 4 leagues, didn't he? He's a very, very good player, Nicky Adams. Yeah,
I think it's going to be an open league next season.
I think Salford will win it. I think looking at the signings they've made, and the experience they've got in that team with Graham Alexander as well, those players they've signed are incredible.
I'm really not sure who I think is going to win it. I don't want Bolton because their fans have been very vocal in how they're going to absolutely walk the league. So I would like them. I
think Bolton and Salford will be the 2 that definitely go up, and then obviously you've got Exeter always up there, aren't they, every season? How will Cheltenham bounce back from the playoff disaster, really, wasn't it? Being up in the first league.
2 teams in particular that I can see being in the relegation zone, which I think is quite a wide-held opinion. Because I think with Southend being the way they are and Stevenage have got a lot of ground to make up from last season.
I think Stevenage will be all right. I think their chairman, Phil Wallace, is quite switched on. I think he will have learned from the mistakes last season, and they've signed some good players. I think the only thing with that is Alex Ravel. Has he got enough management experience to get them to where they want to be? But then you can say the same about John Yems. Very different ages in terms of life experience, but football league experience is minimal.
I mean, we've got Darryl Clark, whose first when he first came into the Football League was with Bristol Rovers, and he took them straight out of League Two and into League One. And you kind of think it doesn't take. Sometimes you just need a good manager who does the basics right, especially at our level.
Yeah, and he turned down Leeds, didn't he? I remember when Darryl Clark turned down Leeds and then got sacked by Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So what's your head saying and your heart saying for next season if you've got to put a position on it?
Let's go 11th. Go 11th. So well, Hart will obviously be 7th. Hart will be 7th. Just sneak in there. Head's probably 11th. Just better than last season, but just still a little bit short. But if we sign a striker, we can sign a striker between now and the first game or a couple of games in, then my head might increase in my optimism.
Well, you'll like the sounds of this because a lot of videos that I record, I'll record it on day 1, release it day 2. And there's been a couple where, like, who I've spoken to have been like, we want to sign a player in this position, and then they've signed a player that day or the morning after, and I'll put the video out
good.
saying, I really want us to sign a player here, and I'm like, oh, great. So, yeah, you're probably going to sign a striker now.
Good, that'd be good.
Yeah. And then just finally, to wrap it up, one player that your key player and your key, like, young prospects that's sort of like a one to watch.
I think Jordan Tunnicliffe again. It'll be in the second season in League Two. Definitely one to watch. If I was a Championship team, I'd definitely look into kind of sign him. Obviously, we don't want to lose him, but that's who I'll be looking to sign. We've also got another couple of good.
Watching, don't sign. Yeah.
But we've got Nathan Ferguson as well, central midfielder who's come from non-league. He's a strong guy. He's good on the ball as well. So we've got him. And what was the other question? Sorry, one to watch.
Yeah, they're kind of like your young sort of hot prospects.
Yeah, so they're probably the two young hot prospects. And then obviously we've got Ashley Naderson, who will be playing up front in his natural position, hopefully, for the first time for a whole season. I think he could surprise a few defences next season.
Cool. Brilliant. Well, thank you very much. Off the top of my head, I can't remember when we're playing each other, but hopefully fans will be back in and we'll be able to catch up and talk about how our playoff campaigns are going.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
No worries. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.